Where to buy in Austin? I had a meeting with a friend slash client today, and he says, well, where should I buy a house? And I get this question a lot because we know the market is hot here. I said, gosh darn it, now I got to make a video. Because if you've never been or aren't familiar with the area, how would you know? It's hard to know where to spend your money. And everyone has a different reason for moving to Austin, but today we're going to focus on the appreciation of home values. He's a smart guy too. He thinks, if I buy a house, how much is it going to be worth when I want to sell it later? And in case you don't know already, I'm Ian of Austin, one of the 15,000 realtors in the Austin area. And I help people do this sort of thing for a living. So I figure, why not share? If I share, then you know that I know what I'm talking about. And when you're ready to make your next real estate move, I'll be here waiting. So the way this is going to work is I'll pull up a map, show the area we're talking about, and then the math, the calculations of how I get to these numbers. Sometimes I talk too much. I just have so much information up here, I got to get it out. And if you click that subscribe button, I'll try to keep it interesting for this and all future videos. Let's start with Greater Austin. There are currently 74 zip codes in Austin proper. So you got to give me some creative flexibility when it comes to the numbers that the zip codes change over time as the city grows. You have a median sales price of $355,000 that has increased just over 11% from last year. And with almost $2 billion worth of homes sold since August of 2019. And here's another important number. We've had just over 4,000 homes sold in the last year. 15,000 realtors, mind you, which is up 12%. And what does that mean? It means more people are buying houses because they're flocking here, they see the deals, and it's rare that a house sits on the market for more than a week. The number's skewed though because you have some builders that it could take months to create a home, so they'll list it for sale in advance before it's even finished, and then that number of days on the market is what's reflected here. Then you also have houses that people try to sell for more than another person is willing to pay for it. You gotta price it right if you wanna sell it. Today, most houses that people perceive are a good value and are priced well end up getting multiple offers. So where are we at? In 2015, the median sales price was $265,000, and today it's $355,000. So this is the only one I'm going to show the calculations on. Otherwise, the video will be 45 minutes. So that means if I take $355,000, subtract $265,000, it brings me to $90,000. Now I divide that by 265,000, my original number. I hit equals. It gives me 0.339. Move the decimal over, round it up, and I'm at 34%. So that means in 5 years, the median equity in the greater Austin metropolitan area has grown by a whopping 34%. Now for comparison, if you were to pit that next to the Dow Jones index, for example, that was 37%. The difference is you can rent a house, live in it, enjoy it, raise a family, get a puppy, have friends over. I don't know. Again, though, that was just for comparison. Okay, so now let's start north and move south through all of these other cities. Georgetown, Texas sits along the beautiful San Gabriel River and is probably best known for its historic square area and then also Sun City. There's 3 zip codes that matter. I added them all together, averaged them out. So in 2015, you had about $296,000. That was the average sales price. And today it's bumped up to about $365,000, which when we figure out the numbers, it comes to a very respectable 24%. I want to point out that I'm using sold data, not information that's on sites like Zillow that anyone can enter. What if the home never actually sold? That would mess our numbers up. So it's average sales price from sold data from the greater Austin area official MLS. Let's learn Leander. It's a city that's had explosive growth. I'm wondering if the numbers are going to match. I want to point out that the zip code also includes Lago Vista, which is nestled on one side of Lake Travis in Texas Hill Country. 293 today, subtract the 277 from 2015, and you get 6%.
That's suspicious.
I want to see some comments on this one. Why do you think it's only 6%? Oh, I have another thing I want to mention. All of this data that we're going over includes single family, condo, and townhomes. Sometimes you have a standalone building that's called a condo because it shares land with somebody else. Austin's weird. Anyway, you have to include them all so that you can compare the data across the board. Otherwise, you have dirty data. Let's hop on over to the east side and see if the Hutto hippos are hopping. Most people in 2015 bought houses in Hutto for less than $200,000. Today, you're winning if you pick one up for less than $290,000. So is Hutto hopping? Hopping? 46%. You can take that to the bank. In Round Rock, Texas, America's largest water park opens November 12th of 2020. It has such a nice ring to it, doesn't it? America's largest water park. I'm thinking about that, plus some of the other construction projects that are planned, and then being listed as the 4th safest city in the United States. Round Rock will probably increase quite substantially if property taxes, don't cripple it. And in 2015, the average sales price was $255. Now it's $345, and that brings us to 35%, where we're squeaking just past Austin proper. Thanks, IKEA. It's important to mention there's this area in between Cedar Park and Round Rock, kind of North Austin, called Brushy Creek. It's weird. It's like its own census designated place that has a zip code, but it's not a city, and so it shares a zip code with Austin. Here's where it gets really sexy. The new $1 billion Apple campus is being built right there. So I have a lot of people that are like, I want to live in Brushy Creek. And I'm like, yeah, but... So I have to explain that so it's not confusing later. So when we say Brushy Creek, I'm like, so are you talking about Round Rock or Cedar Park? Why don't we take a look at Cedar Park next? Similar to Leander, I don't know if I mentioned that before, Cedar Park has a train that takes you to downtown Austin. And I'm willing to bet you can take that to the new Apple campus when it's finished in 2021. And that's a big deal because transportation here sucks. At least until we have flying cars, underground tunnels, or teleportation. We have to figure out ways to avoid paying tolls. Although I really enjoy that on the tollway the speed limit is like 85. That's not an exaggeration. So what numbers are we looking at? The magic number for Cedar Park is 28%. Did you know that in 2015, there was only one house in zip code 78613 that sold for
$1 million?
In all of 2020, there were only 3. So people are talking about Austin being too expensive, but LA, New York, Boulder, Colorado, that's a normal sales price. Listen, if you're looking to spend that kind of money on a house, it is 2:30 in the morning. I will hop on my motorcycle right now and go show you that house. Test me, I dare you. Pronounced Pflugerville. They like to put a P in front of, did I spit? P in front of everything, just so you know it. Fun, family, friend, fantastic. I already have to change my language for things like primary bedroom. This other stuff is just so silly.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir. I understand.
Well, good.
But it's their thing. I get it. I still love you, Pflugerville. And right now they're actually building a new Amazon building that'll bring another 1,000 jobs to the area. That's great. Anyway, I'm going to put up some numbers and you tell me what you see. Is that a solid 4-0? The definition of manor, a large country house with lands. And then Texans got a hold of it and now it's manor. Yeah, say like manor. Some guy named James Manor donated some land so that a train could go from Houston to Austin. And there you go. Okay, I'm just going to jump right on in and say it's 42% for a city that's just east of Austin. Elgin. I have some friends that I sold a house to in Elgin about 3 years ago. Gated community, more than an acre of land, at a price that would make most people jelly. They are in the country, but they like it that way. So let's see what my internet girlfriend thinks the equity will look like. 47%! Wow. Del Valley and Cedar Creek share a zip code because Del Valley it's essentially Austin Airport's parking lot. And that's why Tesla is building a gigafactory in Del Valley. Then Joe Rogan and Elon Musk can do a carpool karaoke podcast on their way to Houston to watch SpaceX launch our next internet satellites. Yeah, that's how it's gonna go. Future-proofed, 276 minus 176, and we're at an almost unbelievable 57% increase. You know, I wonder how much Elon paid for that factory land. Let's crawl on over to Dripping Springs, where you have the original Salt Lake barbecue, Deep Eddy's vodka is made there, and you have a plethora of wine.
Herb Ervlinger, Bert Herngeif, Irv Herblinger.
Herb's not there, but this guy is. No, for real, he has a brewery called Family Brewing Company. And it's businesses like that that give us a conservative but stable 13%. Buda. No, not that guy. Buda has a neighborhood where the amenity center is a lazy river. It's still expanding fast, and it's generally lower priced than its northern counterparts. But over the last 5 years, the numbers are at a meh 22%. I don't even know what Kyle's famous for. It's basically a North San Antonio. It's actually great if you're looking for a sub $300,000 property, you work in South Austin, and you really like to float the river on the weekends. Like if that's the thing you do on the weekends, Kyle might be the place for you. The population's increasing rapidly too though, because it has an outlet mall with 130 stores. Think jobs. There's also Texas A&M University. More jobs. 39%. Look, I know I didn't go into all of the individual Austin proper zip codes, but you gotta show me that you want it. Leave me a comment, let me know what zip code you want me to find the data for, and I'll do my best to keep up. Also, I have a lot of helpful information on my website, ianofAustin.com, so feel free to check there anytime. Thank you very much for watching all the way to the end. See you in the next video.